Although we booked for a wheelchair room, it seems to take the hotel by surprise, so we get put into one of the few suites with a window over the runway. However, we arrived late and flying is over for the night.
Early next morning, in light rain, we're off and away to St. Helier, island of Jersey.
Coming into land over the Jersey coastline. Car hire is quick and we are soon at our hotel. The world is just opening up after the COVID pandemic and the hotel is battling for staff. Our room won't be ready till this afternoon.
So we take in Elizabeth Castle, which can be reached on foot at low tide. A rowing boat race.
We have lunch at table 27, our house number, with these agapanthus in the flower bed next to us. We set out to get to know the Bailiwick of Jersey, a peculiar British isle as it is a peculiar of the Crown, an ancient title. In 1204 it tied its fortunes to the Norman kings of England and is still loyal to the British Crown.
We start at Greve d'Azet. I know you don't know Jersey, but here is the beach where we both touch Jersey seawater.
This is La Roque, where Baron de Roulecourt brought French troops ashore in 1761. Just another of many invasions of Jersey. Shortly after this, in 1779, the La Roque Tower was built. Ironically, it never fired a shot in anger until the German occupation of 1940 to 1945, when German guns fired at American aircraft overflying after bombing raids in France.
In the distance you can spot a Martello tower. At low tide you can walk to the tower.
Driving on, we find a van selling authentic Jersey milk ice creams and walk over a sand dune with tracks visible in the stairs. We take in the sight of 800-year-old Orgeal Castle.
This suspicious-looking guy seemed to have an eye on our tasty ice creams.
In the margins of the dunes, we found Guernsey lilies, nerines.
Our room should be ready, and on returning to the hotel, we find that it is.
Time to stroll around the marina. These two images give an indication of the tidal range here.
If you want the cheaper mooring rates of the old marina, you have to be careful about tides. You will be left stranded at low tide, although there is still water to float your vessel.
Moules marinière, mussels with cream, garlic and parsley, followed by a 3 chocolate mousse. Excellent. Our morning view over St. Albans Bay and the surprise of seeing an amphibious vehicle based on the World War II DUKW called Duck heading out to Elizabeth Castle.
Long, lazy mornings spent beachside relaxing and filming.
The two ducks shuttle back and forth to Elizabeth Castle. They are called Charming Betty and Charming Nancy, named for two privateers, pirates to me, who operated in Jersey waters in the 1700s.
Called Hydra Terror vehicles, they were made in the USA in 2007.
These images are all of Betty. Somehow I didn't get to photograph Nancy.
As we watch the duck waddle back and forth, we see the tide go out. The beaches here are very flat, and it's hard to believe that the tide change can be up to 7 meters.
There is an intrepid kite flyer on the beach, with no hope of getting as high up as this airplane.
The Jardin de la Mer fountain near the duck terminal features 2 women swimming with dolphins.
The gardens tell us that we are well into September, with many flowers setting seed heads.
After a day on the beach, what better than steak and chips for supper?
A last look at St. Albans Bay as the sun sets on us.
A new day, a fisherman digs for bait.
The first amphibious trip of the day returns from Elizabeth Castle.
We visit the memorial to Jersey folk who gave their lives during World War II, a very simple commemoration.
The Liberation Sculpture. On 9th May 1945, British forces liberated Jersey at the end of World War II. A soldier is flanked by islanders celebrating the return of the Union flag. They express relief, reflection, expectation, and joy.
This docker, hauling on a rope, pays tributes to Jersey's maritime heritage. And Jersey would not be complete without a statue to its renowned Jersey cows.
Having made the trip to the top of a hill overlooking St. Helier, we look out over St. Albans Bay.
Before walking through the marina with this ship painted in wartime dazzle camouflage.
We take in the old steam clock. It is not working, yet it was only installed in 1996. It gives the feeling of being a vanity project. It cost £250,000 to install. Lots of better use for that kind of money than a steam clock. The Jersey Tenor Fest is open. Restaurants offer meals for £10. Here I have a seafood mix while Gail tries the fish and chips. Our new day starts off drab, but quickly brightens as we visit Noirmont Point, now preserved as a memorial of the war, even though everything here is of Germanic origin. As part of previous defences, we find La Tour de Wind, a Martello tower commanding the approaches to St. Albans Bay. As we look inland from the tower, we find this German bunker, part of Battery Lothringen, which houses a 6-meter rangefinder and azimuth finder. This information was fed to the Fire Control Center controlling the naval guns. Raus, raus, Mann die Waffen! I get a very tiny feel of what it might have meant to race from the bunker to operate a 15-centimeter L/45 naval gun.
Nearby is Portlet Tower, another Martello built from 1808 in case the French invaded again.
Lunch stop at Grève de Lec, with rain forcing us to give up our open table.
Windswept trees testify to the power of winds off the Atlantic Ocean.
La Rocco Tower appears in the distance.
A new day and we visit the Devil's Hole, where a suitably sinister-looking devil guards the pathway.
A 19th century entrepreneur came up with the name. It is simply a deep hole caused by a sea cave collapsing. It is apparently spectacular when storms hit the coast, with waves and flying spray crashing through the tunnel that remains. Looking down on the seaward entrance to the tunnel, we are here to relax and spend the afternoon lazing on a hotel patio overlooking the marina.
Early morning and we walk through the parade gardens heading for the local market.
Coffee calls, as it often does.
Lovely blue skies today.
Back on the beach, waiting for the tide to retreat so that I can walk to Elizabeth Castle. Gail will sit in the warmth of the beach cafe. Need I say it? With a coffee. I decide not to wait till low tide uncovers the walkway and head out. Who's afraid of a little bit of water? On the castle island, I spend my time on the beach below the ramparts. Who would have liked to have been part of an invasion force faced with these huge walls? Time to head back to Gail. The beach slopes so gently that even with the time I've been at the castle, the water level is only just below the path, with the wind washing wavelets over it. A river within the seaweed we have just seen. Coffee in hand, we see the tide has now retreated so far that the way is almost dry. A lovely way to end the day.
The roads in Jersey are narrow, deep and tree-lined. We take a roundabout route to St Albans on the other side of the bay to our hotel.
A marina, hotels, houses, and an old fort, simply called St Albans Fort.
Lunch calls. Seagulls keep a close eye on whether they have a chance to do a snatch and grab of our fish and chips. No luck here, guys.
Our day ends with a quick recce to La Corbière Lighthouse, with a long visit planned for tomorrow. La Corbière Lighthouse, storm watcher and sentinel. It's located on a tidal island, and at low tide you can walk the causeway out to the lighthouse. For safety reasons, an alarm warns visitors when the tide is returning and it's time to leave. The Corbière Phare frames a panorama of sea and sky as we lunch, with the spectacular views past the lighthouse and straight out to sea. A second photo is taken to ensure that we can see La Corbière lighthouse in the background. In the afternoon, I spent time trying to get good video of this little peregrine falcon. I didn't succeed too well. The radio tower, an observation tower built during the Second World War.
We head home, leaving the seas to wash the rocky shores as they have for centuries. The Glass Church, Jersey.
More formally, the Glass Church is St. Matthew's Anglican Church. Built in 1840, the church is known for its glasswork by René Lalique, which was added later. Please enjoy the quiet beauty.
Returning home as storms blow in over St. Albans Bay with the tide well out. Today starts with a visit to the hospice shop, the largest charity shop we've ever encountered. This takes the whole morning. We have a hotel picnic lunch, so settle for coffee at this old windmill.
We take our picnic lunch on the beachfront at Bouilly Bay. I make a return trip to the Devil's Hole to try and get shots of the sea pushing through the tunnel into the collapsed hole. The sea is only just reaching.
As the sun goes down again, we visit the quayside for a supper of fish pie. Oh, so tasty.
Keeping coffee growers in business on the seafront below Orgeel Castle. It has hundreds of stairs, no access for Gale scooter, so we don't make a visit to the castle. This Martello Tower at Archirondel has been converted into our holiday home. The breakwater we see is just around the bay, apparently an easy walk.
There is a signposted walking route through to the breakwater, but we soon encounter Shingle Beach. The mobility scooter will not move on shingle. Okay, back to the start.
The following day, I am back at Archirondel solo to take a sea kayak trip. Apart from the joys of sea kayaking, our group leader introduced us to various seaweeds and their different flavors, including one which you nibble in tiny pieces. It is so strongly peppery. The kayak trip closes our visit to the island, and late afternoon we're at the airport for our flight home.
We board at dusk and night has fallen, helped by the heaping storm clouds, when we turn onto the runway for takeoff.
Rain and low cloud in London, no landing images. What a wonderful break after 2 years of lockdown due to the COVID pandemic.